Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Sauce. Ended up being a nice little Wednesday night, and it started off terribly. I lost the Hawks, I lost the Pacers, I lost the Nets. I was down money early, but then the Bulls ended up covering against Cleveland. That was my biggest bet of the night, was Bulls plus the points. Then in the later games, I called that Kings one. I called that in the Discord. I called that win outright against Denver. I bet the Lakers on the live show. And then the last game, I had Clippers minus 1.5 because I bet it the night before the Kawhi injury was announced, and I just let it rock. I ended up cashing. Clippers came back and won. So what started out as a terrible Wednesday night ended up being a profitable one for me. We just got one more NBA night before the All-Star break, just 3 games. Let's take a look.
Welcome to the Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
First up, we got Milwaukee on the road in Memphis. Grizzlies catching 11 points at home, and the total sitting at 225.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 5-point Bucks win. Final score 114-109 Bucks. Injury report for the Bucks: Damian Lillard and Giannis both on the report, but both listed as probable, which has been the case the last few Bucks games. Chris Middleton is still out. On the Memphis side, we have some good news. Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart are still out, but Brandon Clark might make his season debut. He hasn't played all year. He's listed as probable. Jake LaRavia is questionable. He's been out forever. So Grizzlies obviously still missing pieces, but this is the healthiest the Grizzlies have been in months. Betting trends on the Milwaukee side: Bucks 9-20 against the spread in their last 29. That's disgusting, but it gets worse. 1-10 against the spread in their last 11 on the road. On the season, they're 8-12 against the spread as road favorites. Unders have been cashing in Milwaukee games: 1-8 to the under in the last 9, 1-9 to the under in the last 10 on the road for Milwaukee. But before we go running to the window to bet the under in this game, we need to point out that the overs have been cashing in Memphis games. Grizzlies 5-1 to the over in the last 6. Against the spread, trends on the Memphis side look a lot better than the Milwaukee side. 9-4 against the spread in their last 13, 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 at home. As far as this particular head-to-head matchup, Memphis has played really well against Milwaukee. The Grizzlies are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 matchups against the Bucks. They're 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 home games against the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks haven't covered the number on the road in Memphis since 2019. So let's match these two teams up on the court, and we'll start with the Milwaukee offense. Obviously, edge goes to the Bucks here, as you would expect. Efficient field goal percentage, not even close. But if you look at the underlying numbers, they all do slightly lean towards the Grizzlies. Rebounds, turnovers, free throw rate, all lean toward Memphis. Now, one thing we do have to point out for the Memphis Grizzlies is they've played an extremely difficult schedule recently. They're 4th in strength of schedule in the last 10 games, but Milwaukee's 7th. So if you want to say the Grizzlies numbers are skewed a little bit in the last 10 due to a strong schedule, you kind of have to make that same exact point for the Bucks. Now, let's take a look at some shot zones here for the Bucks offense, and I'm going to pull up the interior scoring numbers, but this is only to show you how few shots the Bucks take on the interior. Look at the frequency numbers for the Bucks at the rim and in the paint. 27th and 30th in the last 10 games. 60% of the Bucks shot attempts in the last 10 games are coming from 12 feet or deeper. The reason I pulled those numbers up is to show you how important these numbers are right here. These are the jump shooting numbers from the last 10 games. Bucks top 5 in frequency from the long mid range, above the break 3, and the corner 3. What are the Grizzlies' defensive efficiency numbers against those 3 shots? 28th, 14th, and 30th. So the Bucks on paper should have no problem scoring points on the Memphis defense. Now, when we flip it over to the other side of the court, really tough to find positive angles for the Grizzlies offense right now. Memphis just has 0 scoring inside the 3-point line. Look at the Grizzlies shooting numbers from mid-range and in the last 10 games. Bottom 10 in literally every single category. That being said, look at the above the break 3 numbers. 35% of the Grizzlies shot attempts in the last 10 games have come from above the break, second most in the NBA behind the Boston Celtics. Now, they're not really hitting them. They're just 20th in efficiency, but it does happen to be the weakest spot defensively for Milwaukee. So if you're looking to bet Memphis, there's a positive angle for you. The thing is, though, other than the above the break 3 shooting numbers, there's really no positive angles here for Memphis offense. All 4 major stat categories point towards the Milwaukee defense here, which makes betting this game extremely difficult because straight up, I will not lay 11 points on the road with the Bucks right now. 1-10 against the spread in their last 11 on the road. You want me to lay 11 points? Not a chance. I wouldn't lay 11 to a G League team right now. That being said, I don't like the matchup for Memphis. So, I mean, I guess I'll say Grizzlies plus 11. There's not much basketball on tomorrow. Even the college basketball slate's kind of weak, so I do want to find some action. Maybe an under. I'll say Memphis plus 11 or an under. I'm going to land on one of those. I'll let you know my final decision on the live show tomorrow at 4 p.m. next game. Golden State on the road in Utah. Jazz are catching 1 point at home and the total sitting at 237.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to the model, we should see a 2-point Warriors win. Final score 119-117 Golden State. As far as injuries go for these two teams, I got nothing. I mean, neither of these teams have released a report yet. I'm recording this. Both these teams just played. Their games finished about an hour ago, so I got nothing. I will say that I know Chris Paul is out for the Warriors. Utah's been healthy, though. They're at full strength as far as my knowledge. What am I betting in this game? Straight up, I'm on the Jazz here. No need to even break out the numbers because I already bet it. I took Utah +1. Golden State just played a huge game against the Clippers last night. Came down to the wire. They ended up losing. They just beat Utah on Utah's home floor just a few nights ago. So it's a little bit of a revenge spot for the Jazz. Plus, the Warriors don't run the fast break, which is the main weakness of Utah's defense, defending in transition. Golden State's dead last in fast break frequency. They don't push the tempo at all. So yeah, I'm definitely on the Jazz here. I like this little revenge spot. I took Warriors -1 in their first matchup. I'm taking the other side here. Give me Jazz +1 next game. Minnesota on the road in Portland. Blazers catch it 8.5 points or 9, depending on your sports book. Total sitting at 216.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we should see an 8-point Minnesota win. Final score 114-106 Timberwolves. Injury reports. Minnesota, Anthony Edwards is on the report, but he's listed as probable. Other than that, the T-Wolves should be good to go here. On the Portland side, Scoot Henderson's on the injury report, but he's listed as probable. Malcolm Brogdon is going to miss another game. He's been ruled out. And Shadon Sharp is still out as well. As far as breaking down this game, I hate these. I hate when they play the same exact team twice in a row. These two teams just played Tuesday night. Minnesota won and covered. They were laying 8.5 points. The final score was 121-109. Important to point out, though, Portland was actually winning that game in the fourth quarter. They were up 86-84 early in the fourth, so the Blazers were playing up tough for most of the game. Now, normally when a team wins and covers the number and then plays the exact same team again, especially in the same building, I like to look the other way. I like to play that split 1-1 against the spread. But if we actually take a look at how this game went down, I actually think the regression points towards Minnesota winning even more comfortably. Field goal percentage and three-point percentage were about even. Look at the rebounding numbers. T-Wolves got out-rebounded by Portland. Probably not going to happen again. I mean, Portland is a good offensive rebounding team, but they're a terrible defensive rebounding team. So I would imagine the rebounding battle swings the other way in this one. And straight up, without Malcolm Brogdon, I really just don't have a lot of faith in this Portland team. So even though they could have easily covered the number against the T-Wolves the other night, I think that the move is to go hit Minnesota here. There's no way Rudy Gobert is going to let DeAndre Ayton go for 22 and 16 again. So give me Minnesota -9. I actually see an 8.5 here. I'm going to take it. So give me Minnesota -8.5. Like I said earlier, live shows 3 p.m. Eastern time. We're going through college basketball. 4 p.m. Eastern time going through NBA. Same as the rest of this week. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, or you'd like to join our Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information's right there on the homepage. Let's have ourselves a nice Thursday night. Finish out this first half of the season properly. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.